OK, it is, though, the end of play on day 2 of the 3rd Ashes Test in Adelaide, and it is slightly slipping away from England. They're 213 for 8 at the close of play. Lost some quick wickets early on. Snicko got in the way once again with a controversial dismissal of Jamie Smith. The good news, perhaps, for England is that Ben Stokes and Jofra Archer put up a decent partnership towards the end of the day. They were ticking along quite nicely at the close of play, but it does mean that England trail Australia by 158 runs, 2 wickets still remaining. And we can get some more reaction now with former England captain Nasser Hussain, who's out in Adelaide for us. Nasser, great to see you as ever. I mean, I was just saying there that Jofra Archer and Ben Stokes, a little bit of positivity towards the end of the day. But when you look at the bigger picture, is this Ashes a bit too out of reach for England now, or is there still reason to hope this morning?
Well, it looks like the Ashes are slipping away, really, after a difficult day. Another difficult day on a very good Adelaide pitch. You mentioned that partnership between Jofra Archer and Ben Stokes right at the end of the day. That just shows how good a surface it is. And England's top 8 batters, probably with the exception of Stokes, and Harry Brook played nicely for a while, but they succumbed to the pressure of Australian attack, being relentless in their lengths. And I know you want to talk about the batting of England, which has disappointed again, but actually the bowling of Australia in this series, they have given England a masterclass on how to bowl in Australia at the moment. You pitch the ball up, you hit the top of off stump, Pat Cummins nips it away and finds the outside edge, Scott Boland nips it back in and finds the inside edge or the stumps. They have a world-class spinner who went in Nathan Lyon, who went past Glenn McGrath today and only has Shane Warne ahead of him for Australia in Test match cricket. So Australians' bowling has been outstanding, and England just couldn't live with them.
Fairly gritty captain's performance from Ben Stokes this morning. We mentioned already, didn't we, his partnership with Jofra Archer. But what have you made of his captaincy today in particular?
Oh, he's been excellent. I thought he was tough up front. I thought him and Jofra, who ended the day smiling and walking off together, it didn't start like that because England again with the ball this morning when Stark was at the crease and Lyon and Boland, they were poor. They were short, they were wide, there were a lot of cuts and pulls, and there was a bit of falling out between Stokes and Archer. Archer, by the way, was by far England's best bowler, streets ahead of everyone else. He was the one that pitched it up. But when he got it wrong this morning, Stokes had a little go at him because he wasn't going to set a field for bad bowling. And when Archer finally got the wicket, him and Stokes just had a few words, which happens in the heat, which happens in battle against Australia. That's where I want you to bowl. And it wasn't just a message to Archer. I think it was a message to the rest of the team. And not just in this game. In the whole series, England have been too short, too wide. There have been far too many cut shots and pull shots. I hardly saw any cuts and pulls in that innings of England there because Australia have for a different mode, and they have a successful mode, and they have the right mode of how to bowl out here.
And there was some more Snicko controversy as well today, wasn't there, including the wicket of Jamie Smith. Snicko gave a big spike when there looked to be a huge gap, actually, between bat and ball, but he was given out. What have you made of all this?
Well, what I make of it is that England aren't 2-0 down and had another bad day because of Snicko. But I will say everyone out here has lost faith with Snicko. The players, you could hear on stump mic some of the Australian players just saying it's a joke, it's a terrible system. The crowd leaving behind me, people watching at home have completely lost faith with the system. And then you get into dangerous territory because everyone starts guessing. Third umpires start guessing. They're trying to work out when the noise came, when did it go past the bat. I mean, it was farcical today. Jamie Smith clearly gloved one to the slip cordon, and all they were checking was whether Khawaja took the catch or not. And then I'm not sure Khawaja did take the catch. It looked like it could well have been bump ball. That's a 50-50 call, but it was overruled on the fact that the third umpire decided that it didn't hit the glove because Snicko wasn't quite aligned with it. It clearly hit the glove, and you can imagine Australia's frustration. Forget the Carey thing yesterday. 2 wrongs don't make a right. That was just wrong. And then Jamie Smith goes for the pull shot, and there was a clear gap, and he was given out. And you can imagine the frustration from Jamie Smith and Ben Stokes. He just could not believe it. So everyone out here has lost faith with the technology, and that's a dangerous place to be, because in general, technology and cricket has set the tone for how to use technology in sport. It's not like VAR, where there's been huge controversies. Cricket and technology and the DRS system has worked. It's not working in this series, and that's not me being a whinging pom, by the way. It's been the same for both sides, and England aren't losing this Ashes at the moment because of the Snicko technology.
We would never accuse you of being a whinging pom, Nasser, don't you worry. Got to have a word on Ollie Pope. He went quite cheaply, didn't he, once again?
He did, and again, a short stay of the crease to me looked frenetic. It was a loose shot. It was Lyon's first over. It was way outside off stump. His head fell over to the offside, as it does when he's under pressure, and he flicked it to short mid-wicket. It's not just the lack of runs and getting out. It just sets a tone. This is a really flat pitch. England got to 37 for none. Crawley got a decent delivery. You want your number 3 to go out there and soak up pressure, make that dressing room feel secure. It doesn't have to be in an extravagant way like Ricky Ponting or Viv Richards or David Gower used to be at number 3. It can be like Jonathan Trott. You just soak up pressure and you just remind the team that this is still a good surface. But because of the way Pope plays, everyone suddenly starts to think, crikey, is it doing a bit out there? Have we misread this pitch? Suddenly you're 40 for 2, and the bowlers, like Ben Stokes, was struggling with cramp in that innings. That's why he couldn't really take the Australians down towards the end. Your bowlers that have put in the hard work, like Stokes, have to get their pads on and start getting ready for batting. So I thought that was a key moment, that Lyon over coming on and then getting duck hit straight after that. Australia well back in the game at that stage.
Can you just give us a sense as well? Because I think one thing that's almost hard to get our heads around here is we're in December, mid-December over here in the UK. It's 40 degrees out in Adelaide. What are the conditions like as well for spectators, but for the players out on the pitch? That sounds like oppressive heat.
Absolutely oppressive is the right word, stifling. It's not a humid heat like in Brisbane where there's a lot of sweat. It's a very dry heat, but that doesn't make it any easier. Quite a few England fans actually, I think rightly today, this is a great oval, but there are not that many areas. The members sit in the shade quite a bit in the morning, but there are quite a few sunny areas. And I have to be honest, I love my cricket, but I think some of the England fans did the right thing today. Yesterday, they were queuing to get in at 8 o'clock. I think because you're so close to the city here in Adelaide, there's a bridge straight into the city. I think they've sort of popped in and out. They've taken a bit of time away from the game. Maybe that's also how England were playing, but they headed into town and they've come back, because to sit in the sun today, it's a serious issue, because there were 2 or 3 that were sort of stretchered out and there were real problems with the crowd. As a player, you sort of get used to it. You play all around the world, and you just sort of get used to it, and you make sure you get your fluids on board so that you're not cramping. And that, again, Australia did really well today. 40-degree heat. They lost a little bit of puff there towards the end, but they'll put their feet up and they'll try and get those 2 wickets tomorrow morning.
So, yeah, at the close of play, England 213 for 8. They trail by 158. What can we hope for on day 3? What's the plan? Well,
they need to do what Australia did today and kick on with these last 2 wickets and get some runs and get it close to 100 and then have some magic. It's not a pitch at the moment that you should be, Australia did, but you should be able to just run up and bowl people out. So Australia will fancy their chances, and also because of the heat today, a couple of deliveries from Nathan Lyon were just taking a piece of this dry surface, and if Australia get their lead up past 300, 350, then Nathan Lyon bowling on day 4, day 5, if it gets that far, will be well in the game. So England still in the Ashes, but their hopes hanging by a thread.
Nasser, thank you very much indeed. Great to speak to you. And you can hear more from Nasser Hussain alongside Michael Atherton on the Sky Sports Cricket Ashes Daily podcast. Just give the QR code a scan and it'll take you straight to it. Remember, there will be a podcast after every day's play of the Ashes this winter.